Pull out your bank statement, not the app, the actual statement. Scroll through every single line item from last month, because somewhere in there, between the grocery run and the gas station and the coffee you remember buying, there are charges you will not immediately recognize. Small ones, $9, $99 here, $14, $99 there. $4.99 for something with a name that sounds vaguely like a productivity app you downloaded in 2022 and opened twice. And if you're like the average American, those small unrecognized charges add up to somewhere between $200 and $300 per month, which is $2,400 to $3,600 per year, quietly leaving your account every month while you sleep. This is not an accident. It is a business model. And it has been engineered with the precision of a Swiss watch, specifically to survive your awareness, outlast your attention, and persist long after you stopped receiving any value from it whatsoever. I'm talking about the subscription economy. A $3 trillion global industry that has fundamentally restructured how companies extract money from consumers, not in one large transaction you'd notice and evaluate, but in dozens of small recurring ones you habituate to and eventually stop seeing entirely. Here's the thing. Subscriptions are not new. Newspapers had them in the 1800s. Milk delivery had them before that. The concept of paying a regular fee for ongoing access is older than the telephone. But something changed around 2010. Companies realized that a subscriber is not just a customer. A subscriber is a revenue line. Predictable, recurring, low churn when managed correctly, and extraordinarily resistant to cancellation once the right psychological and structural friction has been installed. And Silicon Valley, which is very good at understanding human psychology and very motivated by recurring revenue multiples, turned subscription monetization into an art form. The numbers are genuinely startling once you see them clearly. A 2024 survey by C+R Research found that the average American spends $924 per year more on subscriptions than they estimate when asked. Not $50 more, not $100 more, nearly $1,000 more. When people were asked to guess their monthly subscription spending before seeing their statements, the average guess was $86 per month. The actual average was $219 per month. That is a 155% underestimation. People are not slightly wrong about what they spend on subscriptions. They are catastrophically, systematically wrong. And that gap between perception and reality is not a bug in the system. It is the system. Let's get into the mechanism, because this is where it stops feeling like a consumer awareness problem and starts feeling like something more deliberate. The subscription business model works because of a specific quirk in human psychology called the pain of paying. Research in behavioral economics has consistently shown that spending money creates a measurable psychological discomfort, a mild pain response, that influences purchasing decisions. Cash payments hurt the most. Credit card payments hurt less. Automatic recurring charges hurt almost nothing at all. Because by the time the charge processes, the decision to pay was made months or years ago in a different emotional context, under different financial circumstances. The transaction happens without a decision. And without a decision, there is no pain. And without pain, there is no cancellation signal. This is why every subscription business on Earth defaults to annual billing when possible, charges on renewal rather than on decision, buries the next billing date in a confirmation email you stopped reading after the first one, and makes the subscription the default opt-in rather than opt-out whenever legally permissible. The architecture is not designed for your convenience. It is designed to keep the charge alive past the point where you would consciously choose to renew it. And then there is the cancellation design. Meet Tyler. Tyler signed up for a meal kit delivery service 14 months ago during a period of genuine enthusiasm for cooking. Tyler used it for about 6 weeks. Tyler then got busy, skipped a few deliveries, and meant to cancel. But canceling required logging into a web portal, navigating to account settings, clicking through 3 screens of "Are you sure?", selecting a reason from a dropdown, declining 2 retention offers, including one that paused the subscription for a month rather than canceling it, and finally arriving at a confirmation page that sent a cancellation email Tyler would need to confirm by clicking a link within 24 hours. Tyler missed the link. The subscription renewed. Tyler is still subscribed. Tyler has paid $780 since he last opened the app. Tyler is not unusual. Tyler is the median. The dark patterns embedded in cancellation flows have been studied extensively and found to be deliberate. A 2022 FTC report on subscription services identified specific design techniques used across the industry to suppress cancellation rates. Requiring phone calls to cancel online subscriptions, hiding the cancel button behind multiple account menus, offering pause options that delay rather than eliminate recurring charges, sending retention offers that reset the psychological commitment to the service, and requiring users to contact customer service during specific hours that don't align with when most people have time to deal with it. These are not coincidental design choices. They are A/B tested, conversion optimized, and implemented specifically because they work. The industry has quantified the exact amount of friction required to prevent a certain percentage of cancellations. And then it builds exactly that much friction into every flow. Here's where the numbers compound in a way that should genuinely change how you think about this category of spending. The average American household now carries somewhere between 4 and 6 streaming service subscriptions simultaneously. Netflix at $15, $49 per month, Hulu at $17, $99, Disney Plus at $13, $99, Max at $15, $99, Apple TV Plus at $9.99, Spotify at $11, $99. That is 6 services totaling $85.44 per month, $1,025 annually. For entertainment that, statistically, most households are consuming from 2 or 3 of those platforms at any given time, while the remaining 3 or 4 sit dormant, billing silently, waiting for a Q4 exclusive release that will briefly justify their existence before the cycle repeats. And streaming is just the visible layer. Below it lives the software subscriptions, Adobe Creative Cloud at $54, $99 per month, Microsoft 365 at $9.99, Dropbox, LastPass, Grammarly, LinkedIn Premium, a VPN service purchased during a sale 2 years ago, a news site with a $2 introductory offer that converted to $19, $99 per month on month 4. Below that, fitness subscriptions, meal kits, beauty boxes, wine clubs, book clubs, meditation apps, language learning apps, and at least one subscription to a service in a category the subscriber cannot immediately identify from the charge name alone. The historical parallel here is not from finance. It's from urban planning. In the mid-20th century, American cities were redesigned around the automobile, not because consumers demanded it, but because the automotive and oil industries lobbied aggressively for highway infrastructure, minimum parking requirements, and zoning laws that made car ownership functionally mandatory. Once the infrastructure was in place, opting out became nearly impossible. You didn't choose to be car dependent. The environment was engineered to make every other option less viable. The subscription economy has done something structurally similar to discretionary spending. Once your digital life is sufficiently subscribed, your files in cloud storage you pay for, your software on monthly licenses, your entertainment on streaming services, your news behind paywalls, the cost of rebuilding outside the subscription model is high enough that most people don't attempt it. The infrastructure locks you in. The friction keeps you there. And here's the feedback loop that makes it beautiful for the industry. The more subscriptions you have, the harder they are to track. The harder they are to track, the less likely you are to cancel any individual one. The less likely you are to cancel, the more the company can invest in acquiring new subscribers rather than retaining existing ones, because retention is largely handled by the architecture. This is a feedback loop that is elegant right up until you realize you've been paying $4.99 per month for a meditation app that you used to manage anxiety about your finances while your finances were being quietly drained by 23 subscriptions you forgot you had. So what can you actually do? Here's the practical version. Do the audit. Go line by line through 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Write down every recurring charge, every single one. The number you find will be higher than your estimate. That gap is money. Use a subscription tracking app, Rocket Money, Truebill, or your bank's built-in subscription detection tool, not because they are perfect, but because an external system catching charges you've stopped seeing is worth the marginal cost, which should ideally be free or very low. Cancel anything you haven't actively used in the last 30 days. Not 60, not 90, 30 days. If you haven't opened it in a month, you won't open it next month either. The "I might use it soon" reasoning is the psychological mechanism keeping the charge alive. It is almost never accurate. Switch annual billing to monthly billing on subscriptions you're uncertain about. Annual billing saves money if you use the service. It costs more if you cancel after month 2 and forget to cancel before the annual renewal. Uncertainty should be month to month. Understand that free trials are not free. They are a data collection and commitment mechanism. The company's conversion rate from free trial to paid subscriber is an internal metric they optimize obsessively. The trial is designed to end at the exact moment your engagement is highest and your cancellation friction is lowest. Set a calendar reminder for day 1, not day 13. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The subscription economy is not predatory in the way that payday lending is predatory. No one is hiding the charges or lying about the amounts. The contract you signed was accurate. The price was disclosed. What was not disclosed, what was never going to be disclosed, is the precise psychological architecture built around the billing cycle to ensure that the rational cancellation decision you would make if you reviewed your spending every month never actually gets made. The industry has outsourced your financial inertia to itself and monetized it at scale. This is not a technology problem. It is not a consumer literacy problem. It is an incentive problem. The company is paid to keep you subscribed. You are paid nothing to cancel. And in that asymmetry, across 200 million American households, the industry collects its $3 trillion. So drop your take in the comments. Do you think the subscription economy is A, fine as long as consumers stay organized and audit regularly? B, a legitimate regulatory problem that requires mandatory one-click cancellation laws and clearer renewal disclosures? Or C, a permanent feature of digital commerce that has already restructured consumer spending in ways too embedded to meaningfully reverse? Because somewhere right now, a charge just processed on your card for something you genuinely cannot name. And that company just had another great quarter.